the board. You know, there are obviously personalities, different people that, wield depending on, the organization itself. Some people have more influence, some people have less influence. What I try to do, and I think that, logic always wins, and focus, and, making sure that the objectives and the goals are very, very clear. So, I thought that I had the ability and the capacity to wield a lot of influence on the board just because, I always try to stay focused on the message and what we're trying to accomplish. And, I think that by, being able to stay focused on what the goals and the objectives are, and, your suggestions, are always going to be well received.
Um, why did you decide to join a board?
Um, Again, because I felt that I could add value. I felt that I could help. I felt that I could help create a better environment for, um, to teach the game that I love. Create an atmosphere where, both players and their parents feel comfortable in. Um, and so, that gave me a level of satisfaction, and really gave me, what I was looking for my own, personal fulfillment.
What are the age groups you are working with now?
Right now is being part of the New York Surf Board. We are really working with all different age groups. We start at the time that, um, um, both players and parents are playing more competitively, which is, around U8, U9. We don't have a U8 team that we currently field. We do have U9 teams, but our objective is to start a little bit earlier and maybe go as early as U7, and all the way through, high school age, U18, U19, and one of our goals and objectives is to also put together in the next couple of seasons a PDL team, which is essentially a U23 team, and as a stepping stone for players who have the aspiration to play professionally.
Um, how how many people are on the board?
There are five of us now on the board. Um, I think that we probably need, um, one or two additional people. Well, probably two, because you don't want to have an even number of directors because it could lead to a possible deadlock and inaction. So, I think the addition of two additional people that have a little bit more of a background, at least from my standpoint, what I see where we lack on our board are folks that may have, better background than I do in marketing. This is, after all, a very competitive arena now because there's a lot of clubs, and they're all competing for players and attention, and so marketing plays a big part of it. And I also believe that we need a little bit more help in, the sort of IT, the administrative aspects, of our club, and to try to, kind of bring things up to the, um, to the right technical level, where things are much easier to manage. I think that would be helpful. And so somebody that's got, an IT background and is willing to donate their time and experience would be very, very helpful for us at this juncture.
Um, who has the most power on the board?
Well, the president of the club, who is also the chairman of the board, probably wields more influence than any of us. But we take a lot of pride in working collaboratively. So I think that, one of the things that we were careful in doing is making sure that we have people on the board that have the same goal and the same vision. And so there's really nobody that's kind of, overpowering on the board.
When making a decision, is it always collective?
We try to make it collective. There are obviously some, differences of opinion in terms of how to accomplish a specific objective, but I think for the most part we are, because we communicate well with each other. We put everything on the table. I think that ultimately we're able to reach consensus on almost everything, every decision that is made.
How did you end up getting involved with this board?
By invitation, actually, because, again, having been involved in prior boards and kind of being somewhat of a local known commodity, if you may, or fixture. I've been a fixture in youth soccer in Westchester County, New York for quite some time, and so, through a friend of mine, a friend of a friend, I was solicited and asked to be part of this new board, and I gladly accepted.
Is it very time consuming?
It could be, and so, there are times where, we're dealing with some issues. There are clearly, it depends on again what, where the club is at that, in its growth, if you may. And so, as I reflect back, for example, in Harrison, in the first program that I was involved, we were setting everything from the ground up, and it was very, very time consuming. Now, where I'm involved with the New York Surf Club, the infrastructure is pretty much there, the organization is there, so my involvement is more limited, and it's really mostly from a guidance standpoint and a direction standpoint. So it really amounts to perhaps, maybe I'd say 10 hours a month or so, so it's not that involved.
Does each person on the board have their own specialty?
For the most part, yes, and I think that's as I indicated earlier. We could use additional board members that bring a different experience and a different skill set to the board. So yeah, we all come from a different background. Others have a more extensive coaching background. Others have, as we talked about, perhaps a marketing background, an IT background, a business background. And so we all bring in a different level of skill set and experience, which ultimately helps us put together, the right program.
When having all those skill sets, does it make it easier for you?
Yes, because you're able to defer to the judgment of others in areas that, you don't necessarily have that much experience. And so, the ability to lean on someone that may have a unique skill set, in an area where, you have a need to address a specific issue, it becomes very, very helpful to be able to, not make mistakes, but actually, be able to rely on the experience of a particular board member.
Do you think it helped coaching first before joining the board?
Um, I think it certainly helps, because I think you're able to experience firsthand some of the challenges that the board is trying to address, and those challenges can be in terms of making sure that the coaches themselves are setting the right environment, they're following the right sort of policies and structure. So having that experience, having that coaching experience, and understanding what the challenges are, and they could be logistical challenges, for example. Understanding, I mean, we're all competing for facilities as well, and so being able to kind of understand the challenges that you have dealing with limited facilities, as a coach, obviously it helps you as you're on the board, understand that in order to be successful, you need more facilities, and you need, access to, additional tools, that perhaps you wouldn't understand how, necessary those tools are if you hadn't coached. So I think coaching does help. It helps put, a real understanding on the challenges that the club may have, on that level.
All right. Thank you very much for all your time.
Thank you.